All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right, everybody, let's fire things off with the Lord's Prayer, and we'll go from there. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. All right, we got a biggie. We got a biggie getting ready to fire off here. Going to make sure that Dave Keys has his login link. I'm just going to send him a quick Skype. We've got one Brad Mabry here live. Brad, are you there?
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Right. This is Brad. I'll pull Brad up. By the way, I just put up the official post here. I went ahead and pinned it this time inside of your Facebook group. So if you want to fire off your fired up feelings. Oh, Dave Keys. I don't think that Dave knows what a panelist link is. Okay, let's make him an organizer. Make Dave an organizer, and let's make Brad Mabry an organizer. And let's make Jim a singer.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I sure can. Hey, Dave.
Awesome.
Great to hear from you. And here we go. So who we have live with us is one bad Brad Mabry, formerly of One Direction. Now he's got no direction. Here's Brad.
Some direction.
Oh, he's got modest direction at this point. And then we have
modest, yeah.
Dave Keys, who is still rocking the pirate outfit. But he's got some exciting stuff for us today. And we've got Jim Ussinger, who actually just turned 19 years old. 19.
I did.
So that is good. In 2 more years, you can buy him a celebratory beer. So this is going to be good stuff today. Dave, you actually just turned 17. Dave Keys, is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. This is about my 4th time to turn 17.
This is your 4th time turning 17. Okay. So what we're going to do here, we have a very special day planned. I want to pull up today's email dispatch that I sent out right before this event. And there was a little video clip here with Dave Keys. And I got to say, this is going to be exciting with Dave. I've got a little pre-presentation really quickly to run through with that. We're also going to hear from Brad and Jim. They've got an update on Amazon Plus. But I got to say here, I put up my little Make It Rain poster, my little Perfect Storm poster here, because we are making it rain inside of OMG as promised. I don't know how many people were fired up about this, seeing Jeff Koo, big $13,700 paycheck rolling in. Just last week, we were talking about Regal Assets, and Jeff Koo is feeling excited. I'm excited for him. Lane Boland is killing it. He's killing it with client consulting. He just lined up a $12,000 per month SEO contract. And I sat down with Jeff.
That's awesome.
Lane, yeah, Lane just crossed the $20,000 per month mark. And I just did quite an extensive recording with him today. Some of the insider stuff with that. And then we've got these wonderful building blocks earnings report, and they really add up. This is Brian Hassler, just closed a $2,500 per month client, finalized a partnership deal. When you have SEO, when you have the power of Greg Morrison style OMG SEO on your hands, especially souped up with all that Jimmy Kelly power and this great stuff that we get from our alliance with Russell Wright, Sue Bell, and Mike Pierce, and Todd Spears in the house. We really have this powerful SEO, and it really puts you in the driver's seat. It lets you make deals that you couldn't make otherwise. And he has a referral partnership as well. Remember this word referral partnership. So congratulations to you, Brian, and also to Richard Dart, who's up and making more money now than when he had his day job. So that's really fantastic. And the crazy thing is, this isn't even near all the earnings reports I've gotten in. Those four earnings reports are not as many earnings reports as I got in yesterday. I got 5 earnings reports in yesterday. So those were 4, but actually Richard's was from before. So that's just 3 of the 5. Anyways, lots and lots and lots of earnings reports. We have exciting stuff. And so I feel comfortable leading off today with a little talk with you about dopeness. And I'm going to keep this, relatively short, because I want to get to everything that Dave's got for us and that Brad and Jim have for us. So dopeness. this is a word that me and David Mills are really big into. We like movies with dope characters that win. They just win. There's not a lot of whining and internal conflict. That's why I've got good old Optimus Prime. And just so you guys know, this is 1980s Optimus Prime. This is not to be confused with the movie Optimus Prime, who, like, the 80s Optimus Prime is like undefeated. He just crushes, he wins. He's like, let's roll, Autobots, let's roll, right? Like, he really has this attitude of winning. And I want to instill as much of that swagger in you as possible. There's a lot of whining going on in the world today. Not from you. I'm not saying anybody here is whining, but just with the state of things, the state of affairs. People are worried, they're nervous, this and that. I can understand that. I don't blame you, but we don't whine here at OMG. We roll like Optimus Prime. And it's not just because we have an attitude of dopeness, but we really have an underlying. I mean, how many people are just feeling right now like giving us a hashtag OMG in honor of Greg Morrison, the one man gang. The way that guy has just taken down Penguin 4. I mean, like, Penguin 4 just sent me some text messages this morning, and he was just upset. He was crying and whining and complaining. He's like, why can't Greg give me a week to feel like I'm, doing a good job? Something like that. What's going on? What's the deal? And I told him, I said, it's okay. There's just tons of SEOs out there that have no idea what's going on, and you're doing a good job. I tried to reassure him, because you're seeing a crying panda. I mean, nobody wants that. It's a little bit embarrassing. But I'll tell you this. It's funny. I was talking to Lane Bolin today, and he just hit #1 for his city SEO. Why? Penguin 4 hit, and we were ready, and boom, he jumped up there. So we're getting a few hashtag OMGs. I appreciate that. I'll let Greg know that's Greg know that's him. Some people may be having trouble operating the hashtag. Hashtag is a little bit of a confusing symbol. It's depends on when you were born. I don't know when it became hashtag. It used to be like £. I don't know. I have to find somebody who's older than the age of 18. I guess Brad is. Nobody else on this webinar is. But anyways, all right. So we got people lighting up here. Okay. So yes. So just a quick thing on dopeness. I want to just take a second to talk about Advantage. A lot of people have been chopping at the bit. How many people, by the way, would really love to have David Mills come live on a webinar and just drop some wisdom? Give me if you want to vote for David Mills to come on, maybe on an Acceleration Webby sometime soon. Give me a hashtag David Mills, and only if you really want him. David, who does like law of implication. Ooh, Dan Scott's looking for dopeness. What do you think about that, Dave Keys?
That's awesome, man. David Mills will be awesome. I'll cancel my vacation.
Oh my goodness! You heard it here first. Yeah, I think it'd be really great for because so often you're hearing what David Mills has to say from my mouth and from my filter, which I really, I mean, again, I try to do a good job with that. But David, I want to talk to you. This is kind of funny. When I first met David Mills, it was in the days when we were both Magic the Gathering players. It was right before they started the Magic the Gathering professional tournament circuit. And for the Magic the Gathering players, they're going to be going nuts right now. We actually have a decent number of them. David Hood's one, Gregory Ortiz is one. Probably have a few others. But anyways, when I first met David, David had this kind of top secret deck that he had just won this big, huge tournament with. He was kind of a local legend in the Mid-Atlantic region because of it. And what it was very interesting, because this is something that carries straight through to money getting, and we've dominated in industry after industry, but it's not because we're special snowflakes or super geniuses or whatever. It's because of advantage thinking, like advantage, and I'm going to put advantage thinking. And I want to just give you an idea of what I mean by this. Now, back in those days, there was a card called Ancestral Recall, and the way it works is it lets you draw 3 more cards. Okay, so that's long story short. Anybody can understand that. And what David figured out is that when he cast Ancestral Recall, he won the game, and when he didn't win the game nearly as often. And it wouldn't be that he'd cast it and immediately win. He might win 14 turns later or 20 turns later, but inevitably he would win. And so it was a big advantage. And everybody liked Ancestral Recall. Everyone played with it. But David took it 2 steps further, not 1 step further, but 2 steps further. David played with a card that absolutely nobody else. And I'm telling you, I knew everybody back in those days. Everybody. I went to tournaments all over the nation. It was, it's not that big of a world in terms of the highly competitive circuits that played Magic. And these tournaments were for a fair amount of money, with thousands of dollars on the line. And what David did was David played with 2 copies of a card called Merchant Scroll. You could only play with 1 Ancestor Recall in a deck of 60 cards. And David played 2 Merchant Scrolls in his deck. He really built his whole deck around making sure that he drew Ancestor Recall and that he won, because of it. And so David would play Merchant Scroll to get Ancestor Recall. And so it's not just that David would just hope to draw Ancestor Recall and feel good when he did. No, he stacked the deck in his favor, right? I mean, of course, legally, because he's actually playing a card that lets him search and put Ancestor Recall in his hand. Okay, and again, this would be, I don't know what else to say. Nobody else did this, and David won tournament after tournament. I won tournament after tournament with David's deck called the Keeper, and nobody copied us. I mean, just again and again, week after week, month after month, just nobody copied us in this extremely competitive game, and that's, people won't always copy you. When you're on the right track, don't look for people to copy you or for everybody else to be doing it. Don't think everyone else is doing it, therefore I know I'm doing the right thing. No, look for the result. Am I getting the results? Am I winning? Am I succeeding? Okay. So, all right, that was, really nerdy. What does this have to do with money getting? Well, right here, and this is going to be the center of what me and Dave Keys are going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a few seconds to reflect on this while we talk to Brad and Jim Messenger about Amazon Plus. Although I'm sure that Jim and Brad will readily agree with what I'm going to say here, is that the advantage when it comes, the big advantage when it comes to day job killer client consulting, this is your big, huge advantage, is when you get referrals, you win. Okay, the referrals are the Ancestor Recall, right? They're the Optimus Prime. They're the you win of client consulting. When you have referrals, you will win. Okay, and referrals means that ideally you have a customer, and that customer turns other customers on for you while you're eating lunch, while you're taking a nap, while you're away on vacation. Your customers are out there canvassing for you, telling other people their testimonial, their experience, and that is making you money. So, okay, great, but so what, right? Like, anybody can tell you that if you get folks running around out there referring you customers that are ready to buy, that's going to make you money, okay? Just like anybody could tell you in Magic the Gathering that drawing 3 more cards is going to help you win, right? It's a game you need cards to win. But the Merchant Scroll, the helper, okay, this is the key. This is the kind of the nexus, is reporting, client reporting. Now, how many people, I'm going to open up the question box for the first time today. How many people got really fired up by Cotton's acceleration Webby 2 weeks ago? Got really fired up, got really fired up with Cotton coming on, dropping bombs. Give me the number 1 if that was big for you. Yeah, the question box. Yeah, Dave, you can. Dave, you had a big reaction to Cotton.
Yeah, Mike, you know what you should do is you should cancel me right now and just replay Cotton's webinar.
Oh, come on now.
It's so awesome.
I agree. Cotton's. I agree. Cotton's webinar. Actually, I've got Cotton in the audience right now. I'm going to make Cotton an organizer and bring him live as well, because I think Cotton was awesome. I think I'm really excited about what you have to share as well. Cotton, are you there? I've got Cotton maybe. Oh, there he is. Hey, Cotton.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, sorry to bring you on out of nowhere. This is Cotton Grammer.
That's
That
okay.
was quite Cotton. I told you that Dave Keys was fired up by your, by what you had to say.
Very, very honored. I was very, very humbled by anyone that's got any inspiration from me. So.
Well, the thing is, I kind of evolved to this thinking, Cotton, a lot by my conversation with you, with Dave Keys, with Joe Marfolio, with Jason Boyd. I mean, I get such a great opportunity to talk to so many. It's one of the unique things about the way that David Mills designed OMG was to make sure that we just have so many people having so much success with client consulting and with affiliate marketing that we really get to hear about what's really going on and the exciting things. And I really zeroed in on the importance of referrals. Referrals have been huge for you, Cotton. How much in residual earnings have you made in the last 30 days directly from referrals?
From referrals alone, I'm getting ready to close a deal tomorrow. Sent the proposal today. They've already accepted it, so I'm going to go collect the first check tomorrow from the same guy that I turned it down because it was too expensive, and that's going to be a $6,000 deal there. So
Wow.
referrals are massive. You know,
and you're well over. You've collected more than $10,000 new per month this month from referrals.
Yes, that is correct. Without referrals, I would be nowhere near. I'm like pretty close to 60 right now. I haven't sat down and come up. I would be nowhere near close to that. I might be hovering around, I don't know, like 18 to 22,000 somewhere.
Okay,
there,
wow. So, but that's
all the referrals.
But that's big, and the referrals give you more energy to go after new customers because you realize that they can provide you with customers. Like,
absolutely.
Because one customer can be 4.
Sure, and the beauty of it is I'm not even trying. I'm working doing my SEO. All of a sudden, I look at my inbox and goes, "Hey, Cotton, got another one for you." So I mean, it's fantastic. So but the main important thing is how well you treat the customers that you have.
Right, and that's where I get into.
You treat them like family.
Absolutely, that's where I get into reporting, and I think one of the things that really opened my eyes. And we're just getting ready to add a module that we put together with Cotton. Cotton did some follow up with us to actually walk through his Basecamp system for reporting and so forth. I think that's going to help. Dave Keys is going to talk more about reporting today, so I'm really excited about that. But let me and by the way, in honor of Cotton, we go to NashvilleSEO.org, just so everybody knows. See if this looks familiar. Let's click in on the Nashville SEO Discovery Forum, shall we? See what pops up. Ooh, what's this? We have an application here. Looks eerily similar to Cotton's. I am going to significantly change up the wording, by the way, to make sure we don't run into a bit of a penguin penalty for copying. It won't be a problem, but I love this. And why do I like this? Because I think that Cotton, I believe that this forum gets you on the right track. And this is just a direct rip-off of if we search for St. Louis SEO and we go to Cotton's website here, and then right here is the discovery page, and this is the same thing from Cotton's page. But that really sets you up for reporting. Is that correct, Cotton?
Yes. Without that like gives you all of the information that you need to provide for them to either do a video analysis of their website or to even send a proposal out to them. You're not going to know anything until you get all this information, and I need to know all of this to tell them exactly what I can do for them.
And this also teaches you what turns them on, what's exciting for them.
Mm-hmm.
It really gets you dialed in. One of the things I want you to pay everyone in the audience, I want you to pay special attention to today is how dialed in Dave Keys is into his market, where he's mostly focused on real estate SEO, although he's spreading his wings a little bit. Cotton, thanks for jumping on. I'll leave you on as an organizer, and if you ever want to jump on and chime in, please do. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's wonderful. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place of Providence where friends come together to just absolutely crush it. So it's wonderful having him on there. So that's a little bit of a precursor here today. I want everybody to just kind of have a thought about that. In fact, if you're starting to pick up what I'm putting down here, you can go to the Facebook thread and give me a hashtag. We have a lot of comments now. Let me open this up. A lot of good ones here, and let's do a hashtag. Oops. We'll do hashtag referral reporting. Okay, I know it's a lot, but only if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Give me a hashtag referral reporting, and that's going to give us a little bit of a precursor into what we're going to get into. Before we do, though, I want to take a few minutes here to meet up. How many people would like to hear from Brad, Bad Brad Mabry, and Jim Utzinger on Amazon Plus? We're going to get into Kindle ebooks and some updates on Amazon rankings. How many people would give me the number one in your GoToWebinar question box if you'd like to hear from these guys? Because otherwise, I ain't bringing them live. You know, I'm just joking. Yeah, everybody wants to hear from them anyway. All right. So let's start off now. Now, if I jump over to and by the way, thanks very much. It's great to see that everybody's fired up about this event. I myself am fired up. I really enjoy these events. So if I hop over to the Amazon page now, Brad, I remember you had a post here. My thing isn't loading up here very well. You just posted this on May 31st. What's this about, Brad?
Mm-hmm. Well, I started a GSA campaign to an Amazon product I had up there, and it burst up to number 3. Then it kind of did the little dance, then disappeared. You know, it switched back with the Amazon product, and then I checked it Saturday. It was back up even stronger than before. It hit number 1. So about 7 to 8 weeks, just GSA, so completely free links, you know. Mm-hmm. And sitting at number 1 now, and sales are already rolling in. So
wow,
that's not bad. Yeah, that's no really... PBN links, no strong links, nothing like that. Just straight GSA. So
can you walk us through as well as you can the process that you went through, just at the high level, and anybody who doesn't know, we've got a blueprint for you to follow along with. Brad has written up a whole section inside of the blueprint. Let's see who's live on the blueprint right now. I'll take a quick look. I'll pull up the blueprint. You get access to the blueprint by emailing me at omg@omgmachines.com. Put that on our little page here. omg@omgmachines.com. There at the bottom of the screen. I'll make that a little bit bigger so it's nice and easy to see. Bold. All right, and I'll pull up the blueprint right here. So what's the general process, just in case anybody's just brand new to this whole Amazon thing? This is a Google Drive document that we have, and Brad put together a whole section just for you. We've got, by the way, who's on? We've got 14 total viewers right now. Michael's in there, Patrick's in there, Paul's in there, Ann. Hey, Ann, how's it going? John Ward is in there. John Ward is in there all the time. We got Dennis in there. We got, is that Mary? Looks like, yeah, Mary Semmers in there. Ivor, Mike Hayden. We got a little section in there, Mike. It says web design, but I haven't gotten around to filling anything out. If you ever want to dive in there and do it, though, you can pick up the torch, pick up the baton for me. I think you do a better job than me. But anyways, just riling Mike up. So let's scroll down here. So we've got a section in here just for Amazon Plus. Ed just jumped in. Yeah, hey Ed, what's going on? Bob, who's that? Kia, hey Kia, what's up? I haven't seen Kia since OMG Live Nashville. How many people, by the way, how many folks is the anticipation just killing you for OMG Live Nashville? Give me the number 1 in the I don't know. Just give me. I'll tell you what. Do it on Facebook. Give me a hashtag OMG Live if the anticipation is just killing you for us to put up more information about that. It's coming soon. It's coming soon. I know we're truly not dragging our feet on it. It just we got other things going on, but we want to get it to you. We're really fired up about the event. So this right here, starting, I think it's page 123. Yeah, is the Amazon plus Google module. I do a little bit of an introduction, and then Brad takes over and walks you through the process. And you've got this great $100,000 in 1 month example from Jimmy Kelly. So Brad, walk us through that Amazon Plus process that you went through, just to get people oriented and centered on what's going on in case they're new to this or need a refresher.
For this particular product, I already had a supplier in mind because I sold some of their other stuff. But I mean, if I were finding a new product, I'd hop on Worldwide Brands, eBay, or Google to find manufacturers for something I want to sell. Once I find it, I sit down, I put together a OMG style title, OMG style description, and I actually shot an update video that I posted in the Facebook group too on how I'm kind of de-optimizing my listings now after Panda 4. So just don't mention it in the description. Your main keyword, don't mention it in the description. Have it in the
Where,
title.
where do I find that video?
Otherwise,
Where do I
you're
find
good
that
to go.
video, Brad? Where's that video? Is it in the main
it's
Facebook
on there
group?
somewhere. Yeah, I posted it on. No, it's in this one. It's been a little while, maybe a week or so since I posted it.
Okay, let's make sure that everybody knows about that. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why we have these acceleration webbies. You know, I know that OMG is expansive.
There you go.
Is it? Did I
You just
zip
passed
it?
Yeah.
What's that? This one?
So
Oh, here it
there you
is.
go. Yep.
I'm going to give it a hashtag bump. All right, there we go. Great. So now it's at the top of your screen if you're looking for it. All right, great. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, so I just set up, OMG style. I actually, put time into putting out a well thought out description. I don't just copy and paste it from the manufacturer's site. Once I do that, I let it for a few days, see where it falls. I like going after lower competition, higher margin type products, so it usually goes up pretty quickly. I don't have to do much within Amazon to do anything to get it up there. And then after that, I just set up my GSA campaign, hit go, and just wait. So, I mean, I usually don't have to track it too often. I've seen a few questions in the Amazon group about tracking. I really don't track it. I just wait for sales to come in. Just set it and forget it. So that's,
you track it by
down.
You track it by how
put
fast
your listing. Find a supplier.
Yeah, so you're tracking by your wallet. By how fat your wallet is.
Yeah, when it starts to get bigger, yeah. When it starts to expand, then something must have popped, So, yeah. So, it'll just it'll take probably. I've ranked on the first or second page within an easy one that no one else is targeting on Amazon or anything. I ranked it in a few days, up to 4 or 5 weeks with GSA, just complete spam links. Just quantity over quality for the most part. Follow what Jimmy teaches in OMG, and you shouldn't have any trouble doing it. So.
All right. Well, that is
so. It
excellent.
seems too simple, but.
I love that. Yeah, and again, you use this stuff to help you with client getting as well. So I really want to stress that even if you're hell bent on doing client consulting, which I think is great. I think everybody should be doing client consulting. Also, I think that getting involved with Amazon Plus is really, really exciting, and it will actually help you with your client getting because it gives you something to refer back to, and just another potential source of revenue and something else that you can do potentially for clients. Now, Jim, are you there?
I'm here. Hey, Mike.
Jim, I pulled this up, and this is something that you've been working and you've actually been coordinating with Brad behind the scenes. And I've got to make you an editor of the document so you can also put it into the blueprint. Would you like to do it that way, where I can just make you an editor of the document?
Because once we get that presentation put together, I'll put it in writing and add it into the blueprint.
Yeah, this is incredible. I just think this is one of the things. I met Jim for the first time at OMG Live Nashville last November, and Jim is yet another great example. I mean, who would believe that at 15 years old that somebody could know as much as this guy knows? I mean, it is absolutely incredible. You actually have over 30 years of internet marketing experience at the tender age of 15. How is that even possible, Jim? It's amazing, like isn't it? It is amazing. It's unbelievable. This is just the outline. Jim's put together several ebooks. He's actually been helping me put together a couple of ebooks that I'm getting ready to launch on Amazon as well. This is a great outline to go through, and this is something giving you a little bit of a precursor. Can you give us an idea of what's to come with these best practices when it comes to publishing a Kindle ebook and some of the advantages that you can get out of it?
Well, I think we have a distinct advantage here with the OMG family is that we take advantage of what Amazon's doing as a high domain authority, a 99 out of 100 domain authority, which is phenomenal. And we can see that in the Amazon products. And just to give you an idea, I was doing a little research in the Amazon world, and on Cyber Monday at the end of 2013, Amazon was processing approximately 426 items per second on Cyber Monday. So you can see that they have a huge volume. And what was really a boon for what Amazon did is they brought out the Kindle device, which really allowed people to read documents on not only the Kindle but also any tablet or computer or anything like that. So the digital age is becoming phenomenally successful, and we can create lots of great quality content. And what I want to do in the best practice is not only show everybody how the process to create an Amazon Kindle product, but also to think out of the box. Okay, thinking out of the box by creating the domain authority stacking process. So let's say you've got a Amazon product. Think of any Amazon product. What if you also created a best how-to practices or 10 tips to successfully implementing that product or whatever, and you put that out there with the same sort of keywords, do your backlinking to that in order to raise the search engine listings on that. So if they were to do a search on a particular product, not only see the product, but they might see an ebook on the same thing. So what happens if the ebook might be 99 cents or $2.99 or even free? What it does is it allows you to create sort of a mini sales letter for that particular product, like what Mike did here, Mike Swanson did, was he took his strategic stock trading, but that's just one giant sales letter for his strategy to build up his customer base. So we've got the leverage of thinking. Most of the Kindle publishing philosophy out there is you create a bestseller or you're creating kids books or whatever. That's phenomenal, and you can do that, and there's a lot of ways to publish that. But I think from the OMG standpoint is how can we take a particular product line or series or service that we do and integrate a Kindle product in with that. For example, you're going to do Nashville SEO not only as a service but also as a Kindle book. So what happens is they go to Nashville SEO, not only do they see your services, but they also see a Kindle book. So what happens is, would you rather buy from unknown XYZ company versus Amazon? You want to go to Amazon because they are the proven credible authority in the marketplace, and you're always going to buy through a Kindle or an Amazon product because you already trust. There's no pre-qualifying. You trust Amazon. So what I want to do is kind of lay some of the groundwork so everybody can think out of the box, so to speak, and give some examples of how to leverage the Amazon Kindle in with your Amazon plus Google strategy in order to leverage the number of search engine domination strategies so that you're filling the search engines with all of your content. And it doesn't make any difference. You could do one product or a series or whatever. There's no limit to the number of books that you can do. And once you have a series base, if you're going to do a series, once you have 70% of a book done, you can retool that book for a lot of other strategies. It's called cross-niching in a particular area. So
You know, Jim, I just pulled up.
Adding the Kindle. Yep.
I just pulled up the Open Site Explorer just to kind of reinforce what Jim's saying. So I pulled up, while Jim was talking, I pulled up Mike Swanson. He's a Project Xer. I pulled up his I searched stock trading actually, and he's just #1 for stock trading inside of the Kindle marketplace, inside of the Amazon marketplace. But then when we open up the back office, you can see what's bubbling up here. When we first did our first webinar with Mike, I think that the page authority of that site was only a 50, and it's now a 60. Or sorry, the page authority of Mike's specific page, this one that you're seeing right here, the strategic stock trading page, it used to only be a 50. Now, 30 days later, it's a 60, and it's bubbling up and up and up. And when it hits a high enough level, when it hits a high enough threshold, Mike's, I think, primarily doing this with PBNs. But when it hits a high enough threshold, what's going to happen is it's going to take over. So when you search for stock trading itself, right now there's a book, I think it's on page 3, that's an Amazon ebook. Let me just take a look here really quick. But anyway, there's a Kindle ebook here. And what's going to happen in stock trading, I mean, that's a real, I'm sure everyone here can appreciate that's an incredible term to rank for. But, if you rank with an ebook, with something from Amazon, you're carrying that authority from Amazon. And then that's just amazing. And so right here, currently, what Mike is up against is this simple stock trading formula. Once the PA gets high enough, and actually its PA is higher than this right now, but once the PA gets high enough, he'll really surpass this and take over this listing, and even be able to push this up to page 2 and even to page 1, or even potentially someday to number 1. So that's the basic idea, and we're doing this all the time. I mean, this is nothing particularly new, but I just wanted to kind of show people the power. And how does that happen? Well, a lot of these are internal links from other Amazon pages with a page rank of 76, 66, 61, and so forth. If that's a little technical for you, as time goes on, I think you'll get this much better. But yeah, this is really yet another way that we can leverage, our Greg Morrison style OMG SEO and really get a huge advantage. And this is just something that Jim is doing out of this, the goodness of his heart, putting together this best practices for us. I just think that is so incredibly valuable. Let me pull this up here. So wow, we already have 103 posts here. See what's going on. See what people are saying. Let's check out the word on the street. We got some people excited about OMG Live. That's good to know. Good to know. Dwayne's excited. Marilyn's excited. Dan, Scott Schaff, Brian, Heidi. It's awesome. Oh, Rebecca's really excited. It's killing her, which is great. It's great to hear. So I want to thank I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Brad and Jim. I think that this is incredible. I just I just don't know what else to say about it. OMG is a city on a hill, and it's just so valuable that they're putting this resource together for us. I mean, just taking time, valuable time out of their schedule. It's not like they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They both have very successful businesses. They could, just not take the additional time. They're basically taking their hobby time. So instead of watching television or, maybe carving a little bit of time out of their work time and so forth, really taking some time out of their valuable schedule to get in there and do some great stuff for us. So Jim and Brad, thank you guys very, very much for providing us with that sneak preview, catching us up to speed with what's going on in that sneak preview of the weeks to come.
My pleasure, Mike.
Videos to come.
Videos to come. I love it. We got some real excitement today. So that said, we're about 45 minutes into this event. We are about to get to the main event. Of course, this is all the main event really, but we're going to get to Dave Keys right now. Dave, are you there?
Absolutely.
Dave, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn things over to you. You have a full presentation together for us. I've kind of already queued this up a little bit for you. Getting into your story is amazing, and I'm really looking forward to you sharing. Starting at the end of December, you were struggling in your business. You joined Law of Implication. You weren't even a Project X member at that time, and that really opened your eyes. You got really fired up. You did join Project X, and in a very short period of time, your earnings have rocketed up. And I wanted to really get seriously under the hood. We've already gotten a great interview with you right around when you first broke the 5-figure mark, and you've jumped in again and again. You've been a hero to a lot of people inside of OMG. I know that I've heard a number of people give you personal testimonials about how you've touched them with your videos and appearances, answering a question here and there. And so, just like you provided a great testimonial to Cotton, I want to give you my testimonial that you're one of the people that really, makes me light up and gets me fired up about what we're doing with OMG. Let me turn things over to you and let me do it your way. Can I make you the presenter?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I'm going to make Dave the presenter. And away we go. All right, we're having technical difficulties.
All right.
Dave,
Give me a second here.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Quick look at a PBN there. Let's get on to this. Can you see the first slide?
I sure can.
All right, awesome. One more adjustment. Sorry about that. Let's pull this out of the way. Okay, so here I am, Dave Keys, real estate SEO expert, and that has been up until now my niche. So let's get to a little bit of truth here about Dave Keys. So I'll introduce myself. Here's the truth about Dave Keys. I am not a badass. I am very flawed. I'm very human. I'm often lazy. And now I have a big new problem, and that is that I don't know anybody personally who can mentor me that makes more money than I do. So that's a problem. I was going over the numbers, and I'm making between 20,000 and 23,000 a month right now intake. Not spending too much of it. I'm spending some of it on the business, but that's between 240,000 and 276,000 per year. And I walk around not feeling like I'm making that much. I just look at the numbers and I realize I am. And then I go to my doctor and I realize my doctor makes less than I do. My wife's principal at the school she works at, who has a PhD, makes less than I do. The district superintendent makes less than I do. My CPA makes less than I do. My relatives all make less than I do. And there's a reason for that. And the reason starts with a secret. And do you want to know what the secret is? We're going to reveal it right now. The starting secret here. The matrix. There it is. And this is my push, first of all, for the law of implication. I hadn't told Mike I was going to push this, but this is my push. You go to lawofimplication.com, sign up. I'm going to jump around a little bit here. I'm going to get back on track with my slide deck. There are things that motivate us. These are important people in my life. This is my family. You can see me over there on the right with my wife. A lot of grandkids, a lot of kids, just a lot of life going on. And these are reasons why I want to be the mentor to these people. I provide leadership in the family. They look up to me for stability, for advice, and I'm just a regular guy. But I have to credit my financial stability and improvement with being able to be more of a provider for my family. And then there's important places and things that motivate me in particular. And I like to go to exotic places with beaches in the color of your choice, where it's warm at Christmas time, even at night. And I like to contribute to the community. You see a little school bus here. There I am riding the school bus. School funding is a real critical thing right now. They're having a harder and harder time funding even regular activities. And we wanted the kids to be able to go on a field trip, and there was no money for the field trip. So I bought a bus. I didn't buy the bus. Actually, I paid for the bus to go to the field trip and funded that. And that's good to make, use of money to do those kinds of things. That gives you a feeling you can't replicate. You can't even get that feeling with, and no offense to anybody that, buys a Lamborghini, but you cannot get that feeling from a Lamborghini, but you can get it when you're able to contribute to and influence the community. It wasn't always as good. You hear a lot of talk about, do you want to quit your job? And one of the main motivators that people have in getting into business for themselves is they want to quit their job. The question is, what if you didn't have a choice? What if you ended up losing your job because that's just the reality of the economic situation and you hadn't prepared for that? Let's get a little bit into my background here and how it is that I ended up doing something like OMG and selling anything and SEO and providing things to people that I had to pitch to them. Back when David Mills and Mike Long were uh, doing video games and exploring the 80s and 90s, I was in Europe, and my boss walked in the door one day and said, "You had decided you want to stay in Europe, but you're not going to. You're going to be a recruiter. You've been drafted into U.S. Army recruiting. These guys, these guys have the best sales training in the world." When I was in, it was Tom Hopkins, which a lot of people never heard of, but he was like Tony Robbins of his day, when Tony Robbins was, riding around on his banana bike. Um, I made honor grad for the entire class. There's one honor grad per graduating class, and it was me, because I understood how to, get the material, pass the class, say the right things, but I failed the reality test. In fact, I had the worst performance in my battalion in actually recruiting people to go into the Army. I had major differences with the way that they presented value and what they were advertising versus reality. And I had no problems with the military. I believe people should serve their country. It was what they were doing to get people in. In fact, I was so turned off by sales and by cold calling and the whole business that I got out of the military and I found a job that required no selling, no interaction with the phone, no cold calling, not even having to ask someone to do or buy anything. So I had self-taught myself information technology, database programming, networking, whatever I needed to do. And I got a job where I could rely on my technical skill alone to get money. And I got a job with CFC Insurance Marketing, of all things, a marketing company. Now, they gave me two things. They gave me 14 years of security, and they gave me an opportunity to learn a lot about marketing and learn about marketing something of value. However, things change as they do, and my company got bought by a bigger company, which got bought by a bigger company, which did not need me. So they said, "You're fired. Well, we got to let you go. Here's $48,000, and best of luck to you. Have a nice life." And by then, I was 50 years old. And yeah, I'm the old guy. In fact, I should show you. Where am I? This is me right now in my office. Can you see me? That's me. So I'm 56, the deeply flawed human being, and there I was, fired, and it was 2008. And 2008 was not a good year not to have a job. It was a bad year not to have a job. And I had grown accustomed to some level of income that I would be dismayed at now, by the way, but I had grown accustomed to my income, and the reality and my perception were a bad combination, because I felt like I had nothing to offer. In the economy, that was largely true. Nobody was looking for information technology people. They were laying people off, and my money was as good as monopoly money, and so were my skills. And I began to try to pitch products and database and web development, really anything. I was just out there struggling. It was just pathetic. I was struggling to figure out how to make money on my own. And so there was a long journey from this to here is Dave Keyes, real estate SEO expert. And I've got to tell you something. Everybody here, everybody in this webinar is better at doing these things than me. They're faster. You can learn faster. Remember, I'm the old guy. I'm 56 now. I wake up tired. I go to bed tired. I play with grandkids, and that's like the highlight of my day. But I'm doing this successfully, and it is because of law of implication and OMG. And that is the truth. That is what revolutionized my ability to make money. And as Mike pointed out, I was struggling. I had gotten down to about 5,000 a month in revenues, and that's including expenses. It was getting tough, and Penguin had been beating me up. And I was just weighing, do I need to move on from SEO and do something else? And that's when I started discovering OMG. And so, like Mike said, I started with law of implication. And by the way, it is law of implication and the ability to assess what is true and valid that has enabled me to be successful at domain buying and successful at gaining the right assets and doing the right things to rank websites. SEO became a tool, and it's kind of a progression. And the progression is that you discover SEO as a tool to sell your service. And then at some point you realize SEO is something that you can sell. You can go and sell SEO to other people who need it. It's a skill to be learned. The more you learn it, the more you can sell it. But at some point, as you are learning from Cotton and from Brad and Jim, these guys are using SEO as a marketing tool. This is where you start to ascend into another realm of money making. And this is where I'm a student just like you guys. I'm learning this stuff. I'm learning to apply it. I'm scratching the surface. SEO becomes a channel, the marketing tool and a channel. And that's where you start to develop the basics into something bigger. And that's where you start to really leverage your skill and ability into something bigger than the sum of its parts. I want to talk about value-driven inbound marketing to clients. And you can call this selling, but that's kind of a misnomer because there's not a lot of selling to it. It's a matter of understanding your market and bringing value to that market. A core concept of this is to become the client, to empathize with the client, to understand them. This is probably the biggest reason why it's important to niche, to go into a niche, because you need to become an expert in that niche. And many people look at me as the expert in real estate marketing, even though I don't have a real estate license. I never have. But I doggone sure know how to market it. And I understand how to get real estate visible online and make the agent and the brokerage visible online and make them valuable to the public. Now, this goes back to law of implication a little bit, and I'm not going to do a bunch of spoilers on the law of implication, but the law of implication will enable you to do this. It will enable you to be the client. It will enable you to be yourself, and I'm talking about your true, authentic self. It's important to be able to do that. If I come in trying to be somebody else that I'm not, it's going to show up real quick. It's one of the first things I said about SEO and pitching to my clients. I said, I've got to have complete confidence that when I pitch to a client, it's going to work, that I'm going to provide them a value every time. And now I'm repitching law of implication, but it's that important. Understanding the client, understanding yourself so well, so intimately, and so honestly and authentically that you resonate with the client. It's an art of picking the client that you understand and they understand you, so that when the conversation starts, then you are resonating and they are confident in you. And I'm about to go into referrals where that's supercharged, it's turbocharged. It's important to attract the right kind of client. For me, it's real estate agents. So I want to attract the successful agent who has a need and has the ability to pursue that need financially. And I want to make sure that I repel and do not attract the wrong kind of agent. And there's plenty of them. Important thing is to close high. And a lot of you have seen my comments on the Facebook group. You know, I started with a pitch at $500 and they said they wanted something less, and what do I do? And always be ready to walk away. This is tough sometimes, but somebody better will call you. Everybody in this group has the ability to rank a LinkedIn profile, a YouTube video, something you can get in front of your audience with what you learn here in Project X, OMG. Somebody better will call, so resist that urge to cave. Close high, be confident in your product. Everybody here is a superstar, and you may not know it, but you are. You're a superstar right now. If you have learned the basics of OMG, then you have a power to expose somebody to the marketplace like nobody in your competition. I'm going to shift gears here. I'm going to talk about referrals versus new business. And in my own business, I didn't calculate the amount for 1 month or 30-day period, but Mike asked about that. And I started thinking, okay, I've got a deal for 1,500 coming in off a referral right now. The guy's waiting for me to call after this webinar. I've got another client who paid 1,200. That's a referral. Or 5,000. That's a source. But then there's another 2,300 a month. That's a referral. So it's just incredible how much of my business, when I stop and think about it, is from referrals. Referrals are insanely important, and I'm still learning not to ignore that. Let's look at what I've got for referrals right now. The value of my referral business, and here it is laid out. I've codified my clients. I'm not going to just display out who everybody is here, but here they are. These are the people I have and what they are worth to me on an annual basis, and they've all been referred to me with the exception of JM you see with an asterisk. And why that has an asterisk is because this is the new guy, and I said, look, go and call my clients, the ones I just showed you. Go call them up and ask them what they think, and they'll tell you the good, bad, and the ugly. They'll tell you, what they're frustrated with and what they're happy with, and then come back to me and let's talk. He called my clients, done deal. $197,000 in value from referrals.
And that's when you say value, you mean cold hard cash in your bank account.
That's money, yes.
Yeah. Let me just stop and say this is a classic OMG moment. Like, you're really seeing the proof is in the pudding. We talked about this. The power of the referral. And it is powerful, and it is gonna, we're gonna get back to what this has to do with reporting and keeping our customers in the loop and understanding our customers and so forth. We'll get to that. But to do that, we really have to understand the incredible power. And if you see, like, if by seeing this chart this way, if you see it in if you see referrals in a different way after this, just give me the number one. Just type in number one, either in the GoToWebinar or on Facebook. I want to say this because I really hope that this just helps you see it in a very, very different light. We just heard earlier from Cotton, and Cotton was saying, hey, listen, like $40,000 per month thereabouts is what he's pulling in off of referrals right now. I mean, it would still be substantive without referrals, but I mean, $40,000 a month. But this is a different perspective. These are the actual numbers lined up for you.
And I do want to qualify that this is a about a 2.5 year span of data right here. I didn't mean to insinuate it was 1 year, but this is, I just went through my accounting and said, okay, who came into me from referrals? How much should I get? And that's the value of my referral business over the last two and a half years.
Yeah. And I'd love it, like, as you go through this, for us to take you back to one of your first clients who really drove a lot of these referrals, because a lot of these came from one original source. Is that correct?
One original source, absolutely. I had one guy call me off of the web, and he said, well, let's look at what we can do together. And I think I started with him at $250 a month.
Wow.
It was a seed.
So how a $250 paycheck turns into $190,000, more than $190,000. I really want this to be eye-opening to people, because people have asked me, how does Dave Keys have so much swagger? Well, I believe that this kind of invisibly underlies things. I think that people ask me, how is Cotton crushing it? Cotton gets a ton of referral business. Okay, so it underlies his move making. It's one of the ways he can make these moves. Jason Boyd is somebody who acts with a ton of confidence. Why? Referrals, and there's person after person after person that's this way. David Hood, just so many people. So anyways, please continue on, Dave. I'm riveted.
I would tell you, Mike, I am learning as we go from what I have put together here myself. I'm looking at this and going, what is wrong with you? Ask for the referral every time. Always ask for the referral.
Yeah.
So this is a learning experience for me. When you
Yeah.
said, let's look at referrals a little bit, I'm like,
okay. Jeff Petard says, can you say stepping stones? That's exactly right. That's exactly right. By the way, Eric Negreth said you just sold him Law of Implication. Law of Implication has utterly changed my life. Obviously I've been exposed to it for years leading up to now, but it's just world changing. So I hope everybody jumps inside of that.
If you struggle with clarity of thinking and deciding what to do, and I do, as thinking is hard for me to be concise. I don't know if it's ADHD or who cares. Thinking is something that needs refinement in all of us. We want to perceive the world in a way and interface with it and just relax, and that's human nature. But clear thinking is required for success, and if you struggle with that, go spend 99 bucks. If you don't have $99 to spend on Law of Implication, write me something, I will loan it to you. But get in there and get Law of Implication.
Yeah,
and
I definitely agree with that. Eric Trances had a comment that he made. I'm going to try to bring him live for a second. I just made him. Eric, don't end the webinar, by the way. Eric, are you there? I was hearing you a second ago, Eric. I was actually hearing your speaker, so if you speak, I can probably hear you. Eric? Just got a... Eric, you there? All right,
gotta sing for him.
Yeah, I know. Eric! It's not the same as like, Jimmy! I wish Jimmy...
Can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, sorry. I have my 18-month-year-old behind me, so I was on a different microphone. I just plugged it back in.
All right. So you made a comment a second ago.
Yeah. So I had chatted with Dave on Facebook. I just wanted to compliment him and thank you for sharing so much with the group. And I found out that he lived in Southern California or worked in Southern California, not too far from me. And he invited me over to his office a few weeks ago and was kind enough to sit down with me for a few hours and go over some of this stuff that he's going over tonight. I just want to say it's such a great group here and such sharing individuals. And I just want to put that comment out there. I'm sure everybody already knows that's been a part of this group how great Dave is and how much he shares with everyone. But I just want to let you know that he took that time out and personally invited me to his office, which was just awesome. So I wanted to say thank you to him.
The people, Eric and everybody that comes to my office, I really have a great time with you guys. I think I learn more every time that somebody visits than what they pick up from me. It's just an amazing thing that we have here in this group. And you can definitely, like Mike said, you can't come in here and whine, but you can definitely reach out and get help and get constructive comments and criticism. It's an awesome place. I have never been in anything like this. And I'll tell you, I looked for 5 years to find out the secret of SEO and online marketing. And I looked at all the names that you recognize from Dan Kennedy. I mean, he's great. And Rex Sheffer and Frank Kern and a bunch of Mike Filsame and names that you would recognize, like they're pitching you all the time. And I looked and I looked and I studied and I looked and I studied, and then I found Law of Implication. I'm like, man, I have hit home. And then OMG, when Project X, I walked in the doors of Project X and I looked around and I said, there's my investment right now. Right in the front door, I have recouped my investment. And it's just been an exciting journey from then till now. And like I said, I'm very flawed. I make a lot of mistakes. I come in some days and I look at the work I have to do and I get paralyzed and I just like, but success is inherent in understanding the techniques and the approaches that are being taught here in the group, being studied, being shared, and the core of it is Law of Implication and Project X, OMG. take one more look at this referral thing here, because this is a learning moment for me as well as you guys. This is $197,300 that I would not have had if it were not for the referrals generated from my first client, who referred me to others, who referred me to others.
Well, and again, really,
And yes, you do have
worth more than that, Dave, because would you even be in this business if it weren't for that $197,000? Would you have
absolutely
made
not.
it by without the 190? So, like, sometimes it's such an advantage. It can really be hard to come to terms with this sometimes. And does this mean that my city SEO doesn't work, or that your city SEO doesn't work, or some of the other techniques we teach you? No, has nothing to do with that. Like, it's all. But the point is that the whole point of the your city SEO, or going to a niche and niching out your SEO, or going to BNI groups and even cold calling or using Craigslist. The point is to get that one person who will go out there and champion you and spread the word. Because you get that one person rolling, you get that referral, you get one referral going, and it can and is a game changer. And I really want people to see that. I really want the word referral to never mean the same thing to you after tonight. After this event, I want you to take referrals so seriously that you then take reporting so much more seriously. Because reporting, again, we're gonna bring that home for you, how important reporting is when it comes to referrals. But right now we're still at the phase of the game where we're explaining that. Anyways, Dave, I'm sorry to keep taking you off track, but I was overwhelmed by
No, it's
this.
fine. This is
here.
like the pyramid of human existence and meaning, where you start out with the need of food and air, and then you need community, and then you need these more esoteric purposes as you ascend in that pyramid. And this is getting to the top of the pyramid. Referrals in your business, the pyramid of business success. It starts with, product, the ability to sell, those kind of core things, and you build on that foundation and you ascend in your business to more complex strategies. Referrals is a turbocharger that every one of us needs to remember and to apply and to pursue, because it's so valuable. Like Mike said, I wouldn't have made it to OMG if it weren't for the fact that I had this core business of my clients and my referred clients who had confidence in me. And that is highly important, more than I even knew until I put this
and just so you guys know, of course, without the core, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we did the hashtag OMG at the beginning of the event. None of this is all built on the foundation that we get from Greg Morrison's SEO. Like, if we didn't have like all these other guys that are teaching you various quote unquote teaching you consulting strategies. Dave and I were talking about one guy in particular who's a bit of a fraud, and I'm not gonna call his name out because it's not worth my time. But the thing is, he goes out there and tells people, hey, you should do consulting, but his consulting is consulting. Like, the idea is you're going to teach. He teaches you to consult for other people, and then what you're supposed to do, the core value is that you teach those people how to consult. And then those people, I guess, are supposed to teach the next generation how to consult. It's all this, I mean, it's just the strangest thing in the world. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, whereas instead, and if you didn't understand what I just said, that's fine, because it makes no sense, right? Like, I mean, explaining, purple flying dragon donkeys is not easy to do because they don't exist, right?
Yeah, how do you explain MLM Ponzi scheme? So.
Right, exactly. But when the core of what you're doing is SEO, and when SEO can partly or completely power what you're doing, then it's a whole different game. And so, of course, everything we're going over here is built on that powerful basis that Greg has given us with this PBN based SEO. It's just so incredible. But anyway, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
This is critical what you just said, Mike, because when I came from the outside in to OMG, my core concern, and I sat around with my team, and it's a very small team. It was 2 then, it's 1 right now. But I sat with my team and I said, I have got to have a value to deliver. I must have consistent value. It's the one thing I cannot be sure of in my business, is that I am going to deliver the value every time. So I need SEO to work, or I have to get out. And my team was looking at me like, or one of them was on the phone, but they were just incredulous. Like, you'll get out? I'm like, I have got to either ace this value or get out. I cannot be providing, I can market it, but I don't want to sell people garbage. I don't want to sell people deception. I had an opportunity to do that in the Army. I don't want to do that. That left, maybe that was a good thing for me because that left such a bad taste in my mouth of providing anybody any kind of promise that I could not deliver or that was not what they expected. I want to deliver, and this is the core of me in terms of offering something. I want to deliver the value that I promise, that I make people expect. That has to go through. That's got to happen. And I sat there and told my team, this will happen, or we're not going to be doing what we're doing now. I'll build websites or something else, but it won't be SEO unless I can make it work. It's got to work every time. That when I pitch to a real estate agent, they get what I promise. And here we are down the road, and they're getting what I promise. Anyway, that was kind of a segue. That was a rant, so end of rant. But the value that OMG has, Project X, and David Mills, is real, and that's what makes it different from all the internet marketing hype that you see out there. And there must be 36 people who will teach you how to teach others, but there's nothing in the core. It's empty. It's a shell. And that's why I'm with OMG and not with all those other groups, because I had to provide value. So where when people bought from me, it turned into money in their bank account, not just mine. Okay, enough of that. Let's go on to the world of a referred lead. Now, what happens with a lead that's referred to you from somebody else? There's things, and I'll define it in the law of implication way by defining what they are not experiencing. They are not focused on your business. They are not coming in and going, what will they do for me? I wonder if they are doing anything for anybody else. I wonder if they're crooks. They're not defending themselves from your, quote, lies. They've been told by somebody they trust, hey, this guy's good. This girl is good. This person is going to help you. Go call them up. Be ready to pay a price, but they will definitely deliver for you. They are not closed to suggestions. So if you begin to suggest something about changes in their business or their website, they're not closed to you. They're open. They regard you as an authority because you have been pitched by someone else. And what others say about you is far more important to people than what you say about yourself. At the point they come to you, they are looking for you to solve a complex and or difficult problem. And that's often SEO. For me, it goes beyond SEO. It's how do I make my website bring people in to do business with me? It's not enough to be visible. It's like Cotton. Cotton, are you there? You need to interrupt me anytime that you have something to add to this, buddy. It is providing a value to the business and not your own business, to the business that's calling you. That's what they need. They need their bottom line to grow. I'm going to break in here I went over to see my mechanic this morning because I've been ranking him, and he shows up if you're in Anaheim, he shows up for car repair at the top of search. It's like, there he is with his face, authorship. And I went over there and talked to him this morning, and I said, how's this going? What's the impact on your business? And he said, well, here's what's happening. I'm about 8% over last year. That's good. Yeah, he says, that's really good. He said, the important thing is my peers are struggling right now, and I'm killing it. But part of what's killing it is that people are finding their way to my Yelp profile. So we get them to see the business, and they end up looking at Yelp, and his Yelp profile is full of recommendations. This is the referral in Yelp. It's a form of a referral. So what others say about you is more important than what you can say about yourself. So that's where you learn to help people with their business to fill in the gaps that they're blind to, but you're not. That's what makes you the expert. That's where the referral supercharges your expertise. Okay, let's define a referral. It's usually not spontaneous. A referral is not somebody that, you do some work and they just run out and tell others. That does happen. That's why I said not usually. But it doesn't always happen. In fact, it doesn't usually happen. Usually they get what you get and they're like, oh, that's great. And they go to lunch. Ask for the referral. Hey, if you know somebody, let them know what I did for you. Be sure to put in a good word for me. I even practice this in the group, and I'll just say, hey, if I helped you, then go say I helped you in the Facebook group. And if I didn't, then don't worry about it. And inevitably they do almost every time. Well, every time I think so far people have gone to Facebook and said, Dave, help me. And that's not an accident. It's by design. And it should be. You should ask for the referral. And this is a lesson for me as well as everybody else here. Ask for the referral. So what am I doing? I'm practicing. It's not faked. It's not paid. If you go into a system and you pay for reviews and stuff like that, you're going to get caught. It needs an authentic voice. And
Yeah,
the
and
authentic
it's not
voice can
it's not
only
even going to be
come from
powerful
an authentic
anyways.
source.
Yeah. Paid
Yeah.
paid testimonials will never work.
The,
And they'll really only take you backwards. How many people here, and just come out with it? Let's just relax for a moment and give me the number one if it makes you nervous asking for a referral, and it's perfectly fine if it does. And give me the number two if you feel great about it. Number one if you feel nervous about asking for a referral. Number two if you feel great about it. All right, we're right about, what would you guys say, Dave? Is it about 50-50?
yeah,
About
I'll
50?
tip it in. I'll put in my one. Yeah, I'm still nervous about it.
Okay, all right. So
Yeah,
it's right
absolutely.
around 50-50.
This is a learning experience.
Now, out of you people who said number two, who said that it's easy for you, only those people were. Oh, shut up, Scott. Scott's like, I pay for referrals. Now, Scott, by the way, Scott may mean that he'll pay a commission on referral, which is different. But certainly we're not talking about like going to Fiverr or something like that and paying for a false testimony, paying for false testimony. All right, out of you people who said number one. Oh wow, Jeff Pittard says, by the way, 75% of my roofing business is from referrals. Yeah, this is power that we're talking about. So out of you people who said that it was easy for you to ask referrals now, give me the number one if it started out hard for you. Now, some people will be wired where it was never difficult for them, but I'm curious, out of people who said it was easy now, how many people did it start out hard? Dan Scott said yes. Tracy said yes. Bob said yes. Jeff Pittard said yes. Mike Hayden just said yes. Phyllis, been in sales 25 years. Heidi, yes. Cal, yes. Brian, yes. Jack, Larry. Phyllis said it did start out hard. Pip said it started out hard. Yeah, a lot of people say it's hard, but this is one of those David Mills things. If it's hard for you, if it's hard for you now, or if it used to be hard, what does that mean? It means it's hard for your competition. And on top of that, your competition doesn't have Greg Morrison backing them up, doesn't have David Mills backing them up, and the whole City on a Hill thing, right? They don't have that behind them. And so you're really coming in. It's great news that it's difficult to ask for a referral, because then it's hard for other people to ask for a referral. Plus, they don't necessarily have the same engine behind them that you do. Sorry, Dave, please go ahead.
That's right. Authentic voice, the continuing power of dark social. I didn't tell anybody what this is, but I stole it from an article I read a few months back. What is dark social? Dark social is those things that are not on the internet. If you think back to when you were kids before internet, and there's the story of the guy who found a head in the microwave oven, and it was, that kind of thing, like urban legends. How did they get around? People repeated on telephone. They told them at parties. There are so much communication between people that is not on the internet. You can't measure it. You can't get data on it. You can't quantify it. It's, as far as the internet's concerned, it's dark. It's like dark matter. Like you can't see it, you can't quantify it, but mathematically you know it's there in physics. And dark social is the same way. You know it's there. Somebody is at a party, or they're just like sitting talking on the phone, and go, oh yeah, that guy Mike Long, he helped me out. You got to check him out. There's no link. There's no web page. There's nothing. The person's got to go back and go to the internet and find out, who the heck is Mike Long. He said, what was that? Oh my God, OMG. No, it wasn't. It was OMG Mike Long, and they find you. It's like there's no link. It's just word of mouth. It's communication. It's just the way people work. And it's very real. It's very powerful. Influence of referrals. And I hit this several times. It's far more powerful than what I say about myself. Somebody else says, hey, check out Dave Keys. It is 10 times more than if I talk about myself. The resistance factor when you talk about yourself is so high. And when somebody else says, hey, you know who will help you? Is David Mills. You go read his book or get his course or do the law of implication. It's so much more powerful than if David Mills says, get my book, get my course, and join law of implication. And, and, and so somebody else has to buttress what you have to offer. When it's authentic, you need that referral. You need that second voice that validates you in the marketplace. Referrals mean when they come in as a referral, they have a built-in bias to trust you and spend more. You don't have to build up the rapport and the bias, and all those steps are either shortcutted or turbocharged. It allows for damning admissions and authentic honesty. So I can come in and say, hey, you know what? I did get penalized once. My most recent client, he asked me, did you get penalized? Heck yeah. Here's when it happened. Back in the first Penguin algorithm, when I got penalized for this keyword. And of course, my client didn't even care about that keyword. They cared about a different one. So it's a whole different story. But damning admissions are important. You have to be human. You have to be authentic. And a referral allows more leeway for that, because when somebody comes into you cold, they're spooked. And the slightest little noise, the slightest little aberration, they'll run off. Referrals form relationships, not just purchases. I can attest to this, and that list of people that I had where my referral business came. I'll tell you one, started at $200 a month. Just he couldn't afford anything. His last payment to me was $1,000. Okay. The guy I started with, he's been spending thousands. Relationships are formed with people based on their trust of you, based on this kind of network that becomes your referral base. They're the most likely to ascend. They are the most likely to move from, uh, $500 to $1,000 to 15. Let's try this thing with 3,000. That's what we can do here. And they're most likely to work with you long term. We're finished. Here's the flawed guy. Mike, you better take over before they run away.
That's great. So let's get inside of the anatomy of a referral, because this is where I want to refer back to. And Dave, thank you so much for taking the time. And just so you guys know, Dave put together an entire presentation. He actually just did a full recording of the initial beginning part of it, just like what you're seeing now. And I watched it back on I think it was on Monday that he had that together. So Dave really prepared for this, which I thought was fantastic. So all right, I asked this before. I'll ask it again. How many people see referrals a different way based on? Because a lot of what I wanted to do was really emotionally impact you. Todd Spears says, "OMG, Dave is not a pirate. I'm crushed." So how many people see referrals in an entirely different way based on what we just went through, based on what we talked about? Because if I can't convince you that a referral is just a back-breaking advantage, just an utterly unstoppable advantage, then what's to come next? I'm never gonna convince you of. I'm never ever gonna convince you of it. I've got Scott Schaff live. Because I really want to pile on this. I just want to hit this like a ton of bricks. I'm gonna bring Scott. Scott, we typically have like an echo situation, but we'll try to see what happens with that when we bring you live, and hopefully it'll work out. Let me just bring Scott live. I'm going to make him an organizer. Might take a minute or so for us to get this together. Scott, are you there?
I'm here. You hear me all right?
I do. Scott,
guess what? I bought a new microphone, so
I
I should
like it.
not have any feedback.
I like it.
Awesome.
Scott, have referrals been important in your business?
Let's just put it this way. I quit a very lucrative six-figure-a-year career 3 weeks ago because of one client in particular who just kept giving me referrals. So yes.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
It's just critical. It really is. And now, because of that same exact guy, I can't get into details, of course. Mike knows a little bit about it. because it's still a startup. But I did the same thing Dave Keys did. Focused on a niche. I have some clients in lots of different things, but mostly law firms. It's just something I focused on. And because of that, I have two high-powered attorneys who are launching a huge business, multi-million-dollar marketing company, and they asked me personally to be the third equal partner in this huge startup. And that's just, it's ridiculous. I mean, I've only had this business a few months, and I could potentially, it's just hard to tell what the potential is. I mean, it could be hundreds of millions in the next few years.
Yeah.
Scott, I got to ask you, do you still pinch yourself and like, am I really making this much? Do you still experience that?
It's nuts, absolutely. I mean, it's like you were saying, Dave. It's hard some days. Some days it really is. I've got money coming in whether I work or not, obviously. I'll catch myself out in a Harley or playing with my kid and watching, movies all day with him and just playing with him on the floor, or taking the Jeep up in the mountains and going camping. I'm like, all right, I need to focus because it's almost too easy. The money's almost too easy. It's coming in no matter what, but I need to grow this thing as well and ensure all my clients are super happy. So obviously it's nice to play and it's nice having that opportunity, but there's also, you gotta just almost pinch yourself to know that it's really happening, but also punch yourself to get back in line.
Well,
Absolutely.
let me ask you, Scott, how much a month would you say that you're currently bringing in off of referrals, ballpark?
Gosh, close to 20 grand a month, and
just from referrals alone.
Just because it's almost all referrals. I only have maybe 2 clients that weren't referrals.
So can everybody get like anybody who didn't give me a number one before, or didn't really believe about the importance of referrals, does that help convince you? Because I really want to hammer home on this. Like once you have, and it'd be a huge thing if we didn't have Greg doing our SEO, if we didn't have David Mills structuring things for us, then really we would have a lot more work to do. But once we have that in place, then it really is a different ballgame. So if you haven't yet seen referrals as a huge deal, and now you're kind of ready to come over to the dark side or whatever, to the light side, whatever way it is, give me a number one if you now see, just based on the testimony that we just got from Scott here, do you now see referrals more powerfully? Yeah, I think people do. Okay, great. More and more we're seeing a lot of number ones I couldn't get before. Guys, I want to talk about reporting, and as I get into this, let me find out if Cotton is still there. Cotton, are you still there? I see Cotton muted, but we've been. Oh yeah, Cotton just came back live. Cotton, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here still.
Now, when we did your webinar 2 weeks ago, and of course people went nuts for that. They really loved it. You're now pushing 60 grand per month. Can you talk about the client experience from the standpoint of reporting, because you're creating a whole world for them with your with the Basecamp they have, and by the way, I'm now doing Basecamp the way you did it, like exactly. Mm-hmm. And you're also using SERPbook.com to help report to help with reporting and stuff like that. Can you tell me what? How do you imagine, if you hallucinate for a second and you put yourself in the shoes of one of your clients, what's it like to become one of Cotton Grammer's clients? Like what does the first 30 days look like? How do things come along? What is the experience that they have? And we have a video that you and I filmed together that I'll be releasing into OMG very soon, where folks can see what your Basecamp setup looks like. But can you kind of put yourself in the shoes of somebody who signed up with you and tell us what it's like for them?
Sure. Basically, when I first get them is you can never over-provide customer service for someone and walk them through everything. I just signed up a new client yesterday, and I spent about 30 minutes through them, just going through everything, or write down every question that you would have if you wanted to hire someone that's in search engine optimization, and go ahead and debunk that for them right away, or make a video. And you can add a video every other day to just include interaction. Here's what's going to happen if you see your site. Drop a couple spots. Don't worry about it. It'll come back. Here's what you can expect. here's the real definition of search engine optimization. Here's how you can get more social signals. Here's how we can do this. So I've built up about 10 to 15 different videos. And what I do is I just drop these videos just on a drip, you know, maybe one a week, one every 5 days, and they see that, and it's interaction. And then what they feel is that I'm really caring about them when it's really work that I've done 2 or 3 months ago. So when you provide that sort of customer service with someone and that interaction, or giving them an article, or if you know that they're like, I live in St. Louis and we're all Cardinal fans here, or just showing them some, you know, a Cardinals article that they might like back and forth, just engaging on a personal level back and forth and getting to like them. And then they're more likely to send referrals to you and tell their friends, man, this guy is amazing and you should use him. So if you need any search engine optimization, and that's what type of a world I'm trying to create, is to have everyone love their experience, get the results of search engine optimization, over provide, give them more than what they paid for and more that they expected. When we talked about the video, whether it's writing different sales copy on their web page and not charging them for it, whether it's giving them a couple hints about how they can pay for me for free and how I share that with some clients, and just a couple marketing ideas. Providing different things like that outside of search engine optimization goes a long way, and it's going to pay dividends in return.
So something really powerful that Cotton said that I want to harp on here, and it's big. Cotton said liking. Now, what he did not say, Cotton did not say how I get my clients to like me. He did not say that. What did he say? Who caught what Cotton said? So I said, this is what Cotton didn't say, okay? Cotton did not say, this is how I get my clients to like me. I'm not saying that they don't like him. I think they do. But what did Cotton say? Who picked up on it? I'm just very, very curious about this. This is a powerful, powerful lesson from inside of Law of Implication. Let's see what he said. Yep. Right. There we go. Tom said, how I show, this is Tom James, how I show my clients I like them. Very much so. Right. Yep. Know that I care about him. Yep. But it's what Tom said. Okay. This is correct. What Cotton said is, this is how I like my clients more. So, and this is very much counterintuitive, but this is a huge advantage when it comes to relationships. Inside of Law of Implication, there's a relationship advice section, and it's both for romantic relationships, but also personal relationships, including business relationships, joint ventures, and so forth. You can go out there, and I'll tell you this from the relationship advice world. I know a lot about the relationship advice world. David Mills and I put together, a 7-figure business in that category, and the relationship advice books will tell you a million ways to get people to like you. Okay? They'll tell you all sorts of different ways to get people to like you. What they will not tell you is how to like the other person more. Okay? Now, again, this may sound give me a number 1 right now if this sounds counterintuitive to you. But this goes back to the core of reporting. This goes back to the core of reporting. So just give me a number 1 if this sounds counterintuitive to you. If this sounds like, hey, why is this, what do you mean? Surely somebody thinks that this is counterintuitive. Give me a number 1. Somebody believes this is counterintuitive. Okay, Bill says, all right, Bill. Yeah, it is counterintuitive. You don't hear this, okay? And let me go into the physics of things, okay? I was talking to David Mills last night. Now, I believe that the Law of Implication is the premier resource for conversion, okay? For turning prospects into lifelong customers. I don't think that there's a better resource out there for increasing your performance when it comes to conversion. But this is what David said about it yesterday when I said that. He said, step 1, convert yourself. Step 1, convert yourself. What does he mean? What does he mean by that? Okay. Let's contrast what Cotton said versus what Cotton didn't say. Cotton is trying to figure out how to like his customers more. Okay? Cotton is trying to figure out how to like his customers more. All right? The standard practice is to make your customer like you more. All right? So let's take this down 2 tracks. So the traditional way of doing things, let's say in a romantic relationship, is you'll have one person trying to make the other person like them more. So they will do more for that person. They'll, if it's a girl, wear sexier outfits or cook more or whatever, okay? And, talk more about what that person does or do, go to sports games with that person and so forth, okay? So that's making the other person like you more. But what happens is when you're doing that, you are deficit spending. Okay, you are wearing yourself out. You are spending wastefully because you're kind of artificially trying to make the other person like you more, and you're not going to be able to keep it up. And it doesn't. The problem is it doesn't make you like them more. The problem with this makes you like the other person less. It really does. If you just follow these relationship advice books and you just try to figure out, and this goes for business advice books as well, if you're just so busy trying to figure out how to make the other person like you, and you don't worry about how to make you like the other person, the problem is you're going to wind up liking the other person less, and it's going to come through. It's going to come through. Now, if you figure out what you like about the other person, how many people here just get the genuine feeling like, I really like you? Like, I'm Mike Long speaking right now to you directly, the person who's listening to me right now. Give me the number 1 if you definitely feel like I like you. Like just quick gut check. How many people feel like I like you? Brad, Dave, Eric, Jim, Cotton. Do you guys feel like I like you, Scott?
Absolutely.
That came through loud and clear from the start, Mike.
Dave Keith, do you feel like I like you? Yeah.
Yeah, that came through loud and clear from the start. First time Mike talked to me, and first of all, that he even got on the phone with me. I'm like, I'm never going to get a hold of this guy. And he got on the phone and called me. I was like, oh my goodness, he called, And Mike's a busy guy. I'm nobody. I wasn't even a member yet. I just had a question. I thought maybe he'll answer my email. Instead, he called me up on the phone.
Well, I really appreciate that. Now, Brian says I'm a saint, but I'm not. That's the whole thing, is I'm not. My strategy is to like you more. I'm just telling you this. Like, that's my strategy, is to like you more. I mean, anybody who's around me will hear the names Jim. They'll hear me talk about Jim Utzinger. They'll hear me talk about Dave Keats. They'll hear me talk about Brad Mabry, about Cotton, about Scott, about Joe Marfolio, about David Hood, about Abby Hunjo. They'll hear me talking about our members. They'll hear me talking about Todd Spears and Jimmy. I mean, come on, I sing Jimmy Kelly, but I really do. I just like him. You guys got to understand, I really like Jimmy. He's this great guy, and it's just clear cut to me. So, but where does this come in? Like where does this come in? How many people here have sung the praises of OMG to somebody else? Where you have sung the praises of me or David Mills or Greg Morrison or somebody involved in OMG? How many people here? Yeah, and all of our organizers can tell you right now that the question box is lighting up, okay? And the reason why, and why am I saying this? Because I want you to have this power as well. I want you to have this power, okay? Is the power, because the moves behind what Cotton's doing, and I think that everybody who was on the event, just like Dave Keys, felt really special about what Cotton shared. You can really feel that Cotton likes his customers, because I hear it all the time. I hear people whining, complaining about their client consulting customers, like, oh, why are they so difficult, this and that. I have never heard Cotton complain about his client customers. I have never heard Dave Keys complain about his customers, or Brad, or Jim. And I'm not saying that these guys are saints or they're perfect or whatever. I've never heard Scott Schaff complain about his customers. But if you want to know what's separating, because I want you to have this. I want you to have the power of this, because one referral will change your life. But in order to get that referral, taking that $200 a month customer and really reporting to them in a way that makes it comfortable, that makes you like them more, where you're investing in that person for you to like them more because you care about them. Because you think they're special, because you think their business is special. That's what's going to take you to the next level. Okay, that's what's going to take you to the next level. Cotton, I just think it's powerful when you say that that you build your liking in other people. You have this base camp reporting. You've done this from the go. What are some of the reactions that you've got from people? And what have you learned about your customers as you've been on this quest to like them more?
What I've found out is shockingly, I get invited out to dinners with them. I get to invited over their house to dinner. I meet their families, and that right there is filming friendships and bonds that are going to last for years. So when you open up to people and when you show them, hey, look, I really like you, and I want to do whatever I can to try to get you to the next level, and I'm going to even give you more than what you asked for. It all returns. It all returns. I feel that the universe and karma always pays you back in whatever you throw out to it. And it's been that way 100% ever since I've got in this. Even my biggest client that I have, who's an attorney, he calls me up and wants me to go meet him down to have a drink. So I feel that it's so important to let people know that you care. And that's one of the main reasons that attracted me to even buy into OMG is when I heard you on one of your webinars, and I've said it before, it just reeks that you care. And when you treat people that way, it's kind of hard not to like someone when you're their biggest fan, and I've even told my fiance that or something like, I really don't like this guy, but I really do because he really likes me. It's hard not to like him, even if he gets on my nerves. So when you have that sort of mentality, when you make someone and you're their fan, it's kind of hard for them not to like you.
I heard Dave Keith chiming in there. Dave, were you chiming in?
You just heard the truth, man.
That's great. Dave, take us inside of that first relationship, that guy who started the whole ball rolling. You showed us $197,000.
Yeah, that guy was standing here. That guy was standing here in my office a couple of months ago. We spent the whole day together. He brought his son. I met his whole family last year. They came and we went out to. Cotton was talking about that, meeting the family and everything, and I got to meet his family last year. We met in Hollywood or something. Nice dinner, hung out. Then he came and spent the day in my office, and we strategized for the whole day. And we're on the phone all the time, and he'll advise me and say, hey, do this in your business. It's like it's a two-way thing. We're trying to help each other. We're trying to succeed. He has learned more about SEO than any client I have ever have had. So it's a real relationship. And he'll say, hey, so-and-so called me. I just want to let you know that, I told him what you do and everything and told him you're good. And it gives me a heads up when people, call him. He's the first person I send people to, like, go ask Jeff what he thinks of me, and very cool. Cotton just told the truth right there.
I thought it was really powerful that what you just said. He's learned so much. He's like a sponge. You've taught him, you've educated him. You've let him know the nuances that he wanted to know. He wanted to know about this stuff. My very special person, my sweetheart, she gets her lashes done with this one particular woman who she's a huge fan of, and that woman Ashley has educated her to the nth degree. But my sweetheart has brought her like over a dozen customers in the last several months, over a dozen repeat customers. We were actually working on her website the other day, and I actually saw a referral come in live from somebody saying that my sweetheart had told her to come over, and that's what the relationship looks like. It's this is the relationship right here. It is so powerful. Okay, referral reporting. Okay, referral reporting, and I enclosed it in dollar signs to make no mistake. Okay, referral and reporting. Don't say, well, why do they want to know this? Well, it's good that they want to know this, and who knows, they might tell their best friend, and their best friend might have a business that starts making you $2,000 a month or $5,000 a month or whatever. It's just so straightforward. It's also just a nicer world. Like, tell me this: if you're surrounded with people who you like, then isn't the world just an easier place? isn't it just easier to work on behalf to be a steward to people that you like and appreciate? I mean, of course, you know, it's just so much nicer, so much more enjoyable. So I just really want to just hammer this idea home. I mean, this is where we started with. I want to kind of bring us back to the beginning. Optimus Prime talking dopeness here. Okay, so we started by talking about dopeness. Then we started talking about advantage thinking. Then we got into a geeky magic lesson. And many people here are more equipped to play Magic than the top pros that David and I played against at this point, because you learned the magical lesson of Ancestral Recall and Merchant Scroll. But really, the idea is, you know, reporting leads to referrals. You know, really taking reporting seriously. And now that I've said this, how many individuals on this event are prepared to take reporting to a whole nother level of seriousness, to a whole different threshold, like you never saw before, like you never thought? Like, how many people here really have a fire in their belly to really, you just see reporting in a wholly different way? And for every person saying yes, I'm just so appreciative to Cotton and to Scott and of course to Dave for coming on and explaining this stuff. I really want you to see this is power, because you just need one. It just takes one. It just takes one client who has a fire in their belly to sing your praises, and that can build you a 5-figure per month income. Okay, just one client who is prepared to refer is 5 figures per month. Like, that is the surest fire. I think if you went through all the earnings reports of all the OMGers making 5 figures per month doing client consulting, I would be stunned if there's a single one who didn't start with one, like, you know, that's the cornerstone, that's the basis. Okay, just one person. Now, how many people who have not yet gotten involved in client consulting now feel excited about getting in, now feel like it's opening up for them a little bit, like maybe they could take a shot at client consulting? Oh, Bill, you're in client consulting, you can't say that, that's not fair. Okay, but we are getting some new people. Good. Rebecca, Cynthia, Zach, Jack, Janine's more excited. Tracy, Eric, great. Yeah, I really want this. Yeah, like, because you know what I imagine is that if somebody's reluctant to get involved in client consulting right now, I can just imagine that you don't know what happens after you get the client, and it's a little bit scary. But now imagine this situation instead, where you've got this person and you're helping them and they're getting rankings, it's building their business, but it just fills their heart up. I mean, every day they go online and they check and they search and they see their rankings, and they can't wait to tell, you know, the next guy or the next gal at the coffee shop. They can't wait to tell their mom about it, to tell their friends about it. They're just, and Dave, I mean, that's what it's been like for you with this one particular first individual you're talking about. They're, you know, if they brought you this much business, how many people have they probably told about you?
A bunch. They have to have, and you know they're getting results. It's what you know, the word spreads. And this guy, you know, what's interesting? I was talking about spontaneous. This guy told me early on. He said, "Look, I know that, you know, I'm starting out with my new brokerage, my new business, and I know that this is not a lot of money, but I will refer for you." Man, that guy made true on that.
Yeah, I love that. Well, good. I really wanted to create an aha moment. Cotton, you know, as you sit around thinking about what your clients are doing, do you, is part of that kind of the movie that goes on in your head, them referring other people to you and singing your praises?
Absolutely. And you know, I have a prime example yesterday. I signed up, and his keyword, believe it or not, is balloon twister St. Louis. He does balloons for kids' birthday parties, and he couldn't afford me. And I went ahead and I said, you know what? And I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do you for $500 a month. I've never taken anyone that less before. He was so excited that he looked at me in the eye when I shook his hand, and he goes, I'm going to bring you so much business. You'll never forget me. He goes, for believing in me. And that made me feel good. And I'm going to treat him better than I do my top client or just as equal, because it feels good when you help someone succeed and you get them off the ground and you see that they're trying so hard and you know that you have the ability and that you have the knowledge through Project X and OMG to give them something that they never had before, help their business, help their families, and it's a really good feeling.
Yeah, I love that. Jan's got a bit of a technical question. Jan says, question for you guys. How many clients do you have time for at a time? How many hours of work does a client equal to? I think that's pretty appropriate given what we're discussing. What is, right now as you're in the thick of things, Cotton, what does a new client mean to you in terms of time at this point, now that you've got things set up? Because, of course, there was a whole buzz of activity at the beginning while you were filming videos for them and getting things set up and learning OMG and so forth.
I think what you have to do is you have to be smart, and if you're going to be answering questions all the time, if you can better educate someone, then just go ahead and do it in advance. You're dealing with the same clients that have the same questions and concerns and needs over and over and over again. It's a repetition. It's like the same thing over and over. Why wouldn't you go ahead and type those out, write them out, or do a video for it, and then just say, hey, look, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be providing you with videos about different questions that you might have, or just release them all at once and say, hey, look, here on Basecamp, I have an archive of videos that you can go over and look at. I've like done that before. I do it differently every time, just on there. So when you set it up, there's really not a lot of time if you already have your PBNs built, and if you have anything else. How long does it take to get an article and build a link? What, 2 minutes a day? So there's really not a lot of interaction besides what interaction that you create. So when a lot of people go, oh my God, this is so much work, man, we are doing virtually nothing and making so much money. I like to understand that I like to spend a lot of time looking for expired domains and doing all that. I've already done that work, but dealing with the client itself is the easiest part of it. It's learning the search engine optimization, finding the PBNs, and doing the other stuff. It's all there, so it's not that hard.
Dave, what do you have to say for that question?
Yeah, just listen to Cotton, man. Cotton said it, in fact, what I do in my business, I try to refine and discipline my time so that I spend more time talking to clients and less time doing the technical stuff. I have a helper. I try to, make those processes so they continue to get more removed from me, that I supervise them, but that the time is spent on the phone, of all things. You remember I started out saying I didn't want to be on the phone with anybody. Now my goal is to be on the phone more with people.
Yeah, that's funny.
Saying, it's like what I want to do. I want to get on the phone and say, look, this is how I can help you. This is how I can help your business.
That's
where the goal is.
It is. Scott Schaff, what about you? What do you think of, what's your time spent like with your clients at this point?
It's really minimal. Actually, I spend more time, like Cotton was saying, just hanging out with them. To be honest, like I'll have a client just call up, hey man, let's go grab a beer, or hey, my wife's wants to meet you with your wife. You guys sound, like you might have something in common. That kind of stuff. That's where most of the time is spent, because the actual work time with the client is minimal. And I'm a huge advocate of the whole KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. And when it comes to time each month reporting, and that's where I put that method is, keep it simple. I start out with just a simple, snapshot of here's where you were last month, here's where you are now. That's it, and email it to them. Every client's different. Some want more, that's fine. You can tailor that to them. But most of them, why do all that work when they're not even going to read it, or it's just going to end up in their spam box or whatever? So it's really, really minimal time, other than just the occasional, hey, what's going on? I'm in your area. Let's grab lunch. That kind of stuff. It's really cool, like some of the relationships that have come out of this. And obviously, in my case, I now have a business relationship with two of my clients. It's ironic because here, these two very wealthy law firm owners are putting all the money into this new startup business. They're using me for my expertise. They're not asking for any money. Instead, they're paying me every month because they're also clients at the same time. So it's awesome, some of the relationships that you can just kind of form out of this.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really hope that everybody here today has gotten has got something for your valuable time. We're right about 2 hours into things here, so we're gonna wrap things up. I really appreciate everybody who came on this event. If we go back to the beginning, we had Brad and Jim come on and discuss some of the changes, some of the updates that we're coming out with for our Amazon Plus module, ebooks, and the power of that method. And I really appreciated that. We had, of course, Dave Keys come on and just generously share. Came up with a whole presentation, and then we had Cotton pile in on top of that, and then Scott Schaff pile on top of that. We also got an impromptu testimonial from Eric. It's really something. You're getting so much value from so many individuals that are at or above that $20,000 per month mark, which is a really special place to be when it comes to money getting. And I just really appreciate each of you individuals for coming on. Thank you, Cotton, for coming on once again. I thought it was incredible to have you share.
Sure, you're welcome.
Brad, maybe are you still there? Wanted to thank you. Really appreciate what you're doing with the Amazon Plus module. People absolutely love it. You're keeping that module just alive and kicking and awesome, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. Want to thank Jim. Jim, are you still there? Still there.
Yep. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Jim. Thank you so much.
To be with great company.
Yeah, it is great company. I wanted to ask you. You've been so successful in e-commerce. When I say, and you're such a pro when it comes to internet marketing, you've done consulting. When I say referrals and reporting, when we talk about this whole situation, what do you think of? Because I don't know. I just always benefit so much from your perspective.
I think that the relationship that you have with the customer is fantastic. If they are going to spend money with you and you go above and beyond and you keep them in the loop, it's going to be phenomenal, the follow-up, because what you're doing is you're solving a problem and you're eliminating a problem they have in their life. And what you do is you make it easy for them. And when you do reporting and follow-up and you're there to listen to them and give them feedback, they really, really appreciate it, because what happens is that internally creates an extreme lifetime customer value that you just can't put any kind of value on. I mean, that's priceless. So the customers that you build, like minds come together, and when you start kicking things around, it creates a synergy, and you never know what's going to explode. And I mean, with what Dave has talked about, and what Cotton's talked about, and Eric and Scott, I mean, they're all on target. I mean, all you have to do is get out there and get one customer and build a relationship. Don't worry if you fall on your knees, because if you follow a strategy of doing a follow-up and reporting in a simple step process, I can guarantee you'll win success, because a lot of other people will not do that. This is where successful people fall down, and they don't do the follow-up and the follow-through, and you'll get great referrals from it.
No, I really appreciate that. It's a fantastic perspective on things. Scott, wanted to thank you for coming live out of the blue, and sharing some of your wisdom, and congrats on that new partnership that you formed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a pleasure, and just to give Cotton a kind of a kudos. I mean, he hit the nail on the head right there about liking your clients. You have to take out the occasional emotion and just see things from their point of view and their perspective, and try to put yourself in their shoes. And that is so important, because I almost did not do that myself with one of my clients, which was a referral from the original one, and it's a big client, but about 2 months behind in payments, and I was getting pretty fed up, and I just kind of stepped back, calmed down, and thought about a voicemail he had left me, and I could tell he was embarrassed in the voicemail. He was kind of ashamed that he couldn't pay me, but he says, I have some huge projects that I'm waiting on, and once I get that money, I promise I'll make get on it, this and that. So I called him back, said, hey, I understand, it's a weird time of year. This particular roofing business is just kicking off right now for this time of year. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, I get like an $8,000 check in back payments from him, and online referrals, which I didn't ask for and didn't expect. So it's just having patience, put yourself in their shoes, and just kind of seeing things from their angle. You can always find something. Just the other day, I had one of my other clients. She pays me $1,500 a month. She likes to do it in cash. Hey, that's fine. So we met up at a local diner, and I bought her lunch. You know, it didn't have to. Could have been a quick parking lot exchange, but he said, you know what, let's come in, let's just talk. It was just nonchalant, had lunch, got to learn a lot about her and her family and her history, and it was a really neat conversation. I know that meant a lot to her, and I foresee some referrals coming out of that. She works with, you know, people daily, other businesses, so it's just important, putting the other people first. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Scott. I just really appreciate you coming live like this.
Absolutely.
I want to give the final word to Dave Keys. Dave really put his all into this event. He created that whole slide deck for you. He rehearsed it. He jumped on the phone with me multiple times to go through how he could provide the most value for this event and for you. He's just been incredible inside of OMG. So grateful that he came in and joined us. Dave, I want to give you the absolute final word today, and I want to thank you.
I will surprise you with something with what I had to say. This morning I got up and started my day sitting in the mud kitchen at my granddaughter's preschool, where I take them a couple times a week. And I sat there for the first hour and a half of my day with my granddaughter while she served me mud pies and mud tea in the mud kitchen out in this yard where they hang out. And it's one-on-one time. My time is, worth anywhere from $300 to $1,000 an hour, and I'm spending it on my granddaughter, just hanging out. And she's like, I like you, Papa. You can't buy that. That when you talk about income, when you talk about independence and the freedom that comes from being able to command your time, your salary, your income, your business, that is the end result, is that you are able to have the kind of relationships that are important. That's true in business. I listened to Cotton and Brad and everybody talking about, it inspired me to get more local consulting, not just my niche, which is all over the world, even Thailand, but make relationships with local business people, because they're the ones you can hang out with, have lunch with, talk about how things are going. Family relationships. I am able to have a life that no one else I know can have. I can have the life that others can't have because I do the things that others won't do. And there's no way to replace or buy that. You have to command it. And that's, I think, the value, the hidden value that you see here in OMG and Project X and this group, is that really that we are helping people find a way to have that kind of life. And I see people all over. They are slaves. They are slaves standing behind cash registers, in car washes, working in the gas station, everywhere I go, working in offices, and I'm free. And they're in bondage. And that's the reality. That's truth. And sometimes some of them slip out. Some of them are able to come out and say, hey, I want to take this dangerous step out in the raw cold and see if I can survive and prosper. And that's what it's about, is about turning opportunity into prosperity. And what a place we have to do that right here in the United States. And this isn't like, a patriotic rant, but we really have so much opportunity. There is money flowing everywhere, and OMG is a place to learn how to reach in and pull out of that pool of money. So that's my final word.
Well, of course, I really appreciate that, Dave. I appreciate everybody coming online. As you all know, I pray to Jesus for your wisdom and health, and for him to care for you just like a little infant, just like Dave Keys' grandchild. So I just want to thank everybody. OMG is a city on a hill. It's a place where friends come together in Providence. And we'll be back next week. God bless you all.
God bless.
Eric, if you're around, you can end the webinar. I don't think Eric Francis got to end a webinar yet. I'm sure people
do it, Eric.
find out if he ends it. Otherwise, I'll have to bring on a guest ender.